Now I'm in the Republic of Seychelles, 115 islands in total, give or take. And through the years, I've met people that have traveled here. I've met people that do business with here, and I've met people from here. And the thing that I keep on hearing is, come to our islands, have a look, because it's much more than just another holiday destination where you just lie on the beach for 3 days. And so I said, yes, I'm here. What I'm going to do is do a little bit of homework this evening, see what there is to do here, plan about 3 days worth of kind of going around, and then see what this lovely set of islands has to offer. But for now, I'm going to go back to my book and my classic holiday. One of the places you must come and visit while in the Seychelles is just a couple of kilometers, well, 3.5 kilometers outside of the capital, Victoria, and that is Eden Island. Now, Eden Island is a wonderful man-made island, funnily enough, in a nation of islands, but it also has shops. It has a shopping mall, an open-air shopping mall called Eden Plaza, and which kind of caters for your Western shopping needs, and it is surrounded by lovely buildings that you can see behind me, and a hotel as well. So it's definitely a stop to make while in the Seychelles. And of course, Eden Island houses a considerable sized marina. Now, contrary to most modern marinas where it's full of fiberglass motorboats, there's actually an abundance of catamarans and sailing vessels here mixed with some speedboats. So that is quite impressive to see. Behind me are some very large super yachts, and behind me over here are some very nice catamarans and speedboats. Sustainability is a big thing here in the Seychelles. Actually, they've spent a lot of money, research, and effort into making this island very sustainable, very clean, very environmentally friendly. And energy sustainability is another thing that is big in the Seychelles, actually supported by the UAE government. Back there, you can see some wind turbines. There's an island that is entirely dedicated to sustainable and renewable energy. So right now, there are about 5 or 6 wind turbines, but eventually the entire island is going to be full of solar panels, effectively powering as much or majority of the island as it can. Now, contrary to some other holiday destinations, Seychelles is by no means all about beaches and sunshine. There is vast history here. The French landed here in the 1700s, and then the Brits came, and then it became part of the Commonwealth, declared its independence in 1976, so on and so forth. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I'm not going to sit here and give you a history lesson, but if you do want to get some detailed history about this wonderful nation, then the National Museum of History, which is the magnificent building behind me, is definitely where you should come. It's extremely well curated, and by the way, the building is fantastic itself. I mean, this used to be the Orient Bank back in the day. It is now, of course, the History Museum. So this is the central fruit and fish market. They have a fish called bonita, which is beautiful actually in many Latin languages, in case you didn't know. I thought I'd come here, have a little look at the market and see what there is, and I'm quite pleased to say that there aren't cats or dogs or exotic animals or anacondas being chopped up here, but rather some lovely fish, red snapper there, and fruits and vegetables, and I'm told this is a very busy market street, and this is where the kind of beating heart of the Seychelles kind of beats. Now, what you have an abundance of in tropical islands, and Seychelles is no exception, is sugarcane. And sugarcane can be used for that very delicious drink, part of your favorite cocktail, rum, of course. Now, Seychelles produces some of the most delicious rum out there. It's not as famous as the Caribbean rum, for example, perhaps, because it's just that the Caribbeans have gotten there before. It's kind of like The world knows feta cheese as Greek feta cheese, but if you ask the Turks, they have a different opinion of it. But that's neither here nor there. Now, the rum in Seychelles is made out of sugarcane, of course. It's in Takamaka. They mature it in bourbon or oak barrels to give it that taste. The percentage when the rum is made is 69% alcohol. They bring it down to about 43, and they produce several different types of rum here. There's white rum, which would go with your kind of cocktails, and then you have the darker rum, which they suggest you drink it on the rocks or neat. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Now I stand here in front of this magnificent view, and this is about a 40-minute drive outside of Victoria. It's called Mission Lodge. It is a nature reserve, and back in 1972, actually, this place became particularly famous when Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II came here with the Duke of Edinburgh, Philip, on the Royal Yacht Britannia, no less, and they actually came here to inaugurate the Seychelles airport. In order to get to Mission Lodge, you kind of come up a windy road from Victoria up into Mission Lodge, and then you walk through this fantastic kind of corridor of gigantic trees, and it is just so peaceful up here. It's really nice place to come and enjoy, and doesn't matter if it's humid or hot, because once you're under these lovely trees, there's a nice breeze. It's actually a pleasure to be around here. Now, out of the 115 islands that make up the Republic of Seychelles, that's Mahé, of course, the capital. Then you have Praslin, and then you have Digue. Now, these two are the two major islands, and then you have about another 15 islands that are purely hotels. So one island, one hotel. But today, what I'm going to do is to see a little bit more of these lovely islands. First, I'm going to take that ferry back there to Praslin, go around for a couple of hours, and then following that, I think I'll go to Digue. On the island of Praslin, there is Vallée de Mai. It's a botanical garden of grand dimensions. I say grand, but it's actually the world's smallest UNESCO site, UNESCO protected site. It has a combination of vanilla and nutmeg, and of course the world famous coco de mer, which the Seychelles claim it as their own. Coco de mer is the world's largest seed. It's I think it takes about 8 to 9 years for it to mature, and then you can only eat it though in its very, very early stages of 8 or 9 months. It has a jelly-like interior. After that, it kind of hardens and it's not much good. But what you can do is people traditionally have used it as souvenirs or kind of cut it in half and make it into a salad bowl, that kind of thing. But these days there happens to be a little bit of poaching problem going on, and they've kind of stopped trading in it and turned it into a more of a protected seed, let's say. So the reason it's called coco de mer, it's because originally they had found it floating in the water, but of course it doesn't grow in the water. It grows in these magnificently tall trees. There's one here. It's the tallest in this botanical garden, and that is 27 meters high. That is extremely high, if I may say so. That's kind of like a 7-8 story building, really. And one other thing before I forget, they have a black parrot here, which is a very special kind of bird. It apparently doesn't come into Vallée de Mai, but kind of hangs around at the entrance area. You can seldom spot it in the thick forest botanical garden, but it is one of those very unique kind of birds that is indigenous to here, from what I understand. You can hear it, but it's very hard to spot him or her. Now I know it really does look like photoshopped. That looks like CGI, but that is actually the real color of the sea. This is Anse Lazio on Praslin Island. It's not too far from port, about 20-minute drive. But what I have noticed about Praslin, the island, is it's very different than Mahe. Of course, Mahe is where Victoria is, where the capital is. Here is a lot quieter. There isn't even a town center, really. It's just full of these incredibly beautiful beaches with incredibly nice water. There are a lot of private villas. There are a lot of residences, kind of that you can rent if you're a tourist. And it just really has one of those tropical island paradise feels to it. You know, right behind Anse Lazio beach, it's about, I don't know, 150 meters that way. You get these little pond-like little sanctuaries, really, of just extreme peace and quiet. Right behind the beach, you have a restaurant there, because this beach, I mean, there are no beach clubs. There's no, you know, fancy Dubai-like venues. It's very much little restaurants like this, where you bring your own ice box. You know, you don't even need a parasol, because you have these lovely palm trees like that just kind of going over, so that's your shade. And it's literally the ultimate relaxation place here. Very quiet, very peaceful. Ooh, I gotta show you that. My God, the water is so clear, and there are giant fish in there. Anyway, this is the island of Digue, and this island has a very different vibe to it, because there are no five-star hotels. It's full of lodges and kind of guest houses in the island of Digue. You have a place somewhere called Union Park. Now, Union Park is kind of like a an area that you have to pay to get in, and within Union Park you have these giant tortoises that you can see right behind me over there. Now, they are anywhere between 80 to 100 years old. That's how long they live, and the larger ones are definitely more than 80 years old. Now, that guy over there is feeding away. There is, on another island here, there is the world's oldest tortoise called Esmeralda. We can't see Esmeralda today, but we can see her friends here. Over here, there's a congregation of 5 or 6, and I'm just going to quickly take you to the corner, because over here they're kind of nesting away, and you can see the different sizes of tortoises they have. They're kind of nesting in some mud. They're very aware that I'm here, because I think I'm kind of bothering them, so I'm going to just turn the camera quickly for you to see. They're just kind of keeping cool from the sun. I think I'll continue my tour of Union National Park. Remember when I came here on a boat? Now I'm gonna go back on a plane. So what you do is, from Digue, you take a little boat back to Praslin. And in Praslin, there's a small airstrip where these little aircraft operated by Air Seychelles will take you back to Mahe. It took about 45 minutes to get here. It's gonna take me about 15 minutes to get back. And if I'm honest, this place probably looks more like a resort than an airplane, or an airport, let's say.